Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of today's guests, including Paul Dolan, standing by, are brought to you by the Vancouver Giants. Following a 5-3 win in Victoria, that was last night.
Yeah.
The G-Men return home for their final home game before Christmas tomorrow night against Portland. Puck drop is at 7:30 p.m. at the beautiful Langley Event Center. And I'm serious. I love that place. Oh. Get your tickets for tomorrow night. You're getting excited. And every Giants home game at vancouvergiants.com/tickets. JJ from Fiji, just before we get to Paul, Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. Donnie, speaking of Survivor, this is crazy. Season 43 wrapped up last night. A guy named Gabler ended up winning it. 43? I know they have like two seasons in 1 year. So, but... Well, remember it first came out, it was so would you pay attention here? It was so experimental.
I don't watch Survivor.
You don't watch this show, apparently.
No, I don't watch Survivor.
I was big into it the first couple of seasons. It's still going strong.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure Dolly's happy to hear about that. Paul Dolan joins us now. It'll be on Sunday, Argentina versus France in the World Cup final. Paul, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
Good. Big Gabler fan. Really enjoyed the finale last night.
Oh, I don't know if you're kidding or not.
I'm dead serious. I've watched every hour that show's ever been on, believe it or not. The family's into it. It's a good family show.
You're right. My kids are into it as well. Okay, before we talk about the World Cup final, Croatia and Morocco make it to the Final Four. I can't remember if we talked about this the last time around. Was Canada in the group of death?
The way I look at the groups of death is if you were this team playing these three opponents. So going into the tournament, I thought the group of death is the one that Costa Rica is in, facing Japan and Spain and Germany. But now you look at where the teams from Group F have gone to the semifinals. And yeah, you'd have to say that Canada was in the group of death, including the number 2 team in the world in Belgium. So fair credit to, well, first of all, those teams obviously that got to the semifinal and were fair value for it. I thought in particular Morocco was the surprise story, kind of the feel-good story of the tournament. I loved the way, not necessarily that they played, because I'm not all about it. You know me, I'm not a soccer apologist that says 0-0 is always a great game by any means. But I admired the way they defended. I admired the way they stuck to the game plan and the tactics. And then I also admired the way that they had so many very high-quality players that could get out of tight situations and create scoring chances the other way. So fair dues to Morocco. And Croatia is also a country of 4 million people that once again gets to a World Cup semifinal. It's incredible, the amount of talent they have in such a small country. And Canada played well in their group. Obviously, they lost 4-1 to Croatia after scoring their first goal, but it was a very tough group, as it turns out.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Belgium, disappointment, but they did come in as the number 2 ranked country on the planet. Lionel Messi, who will play, of course, in Sunday's final, is now Argentina's all-time leading World Cup goal scorer. Where is his game at the age of 35?
It doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. He is the best player in the tournament. He is the reason Argentina is where they are with respect to the other teammates. Obviously, when you get to a semifinal and now you get to a final, you have to have an all-round strong team game to be able to get there. Good goalkeeping, good defending, good stuff through midfield, and then someone who's finishing those goal-scoring chances. But Messi truly is the catalyst to the entire Argentine operation. And the thing that I like most about him is he lifts it at the time when his team needs it. When games are in a lull, when it looks like it could go either way, he just puts on the magic, goes down the touchline after the throw-in out of nothing, really. Spin cycles what many think was the best defender of the tournament in Gvardiol, the Croatian center back, and then sets up the goal for Alvarez's second of the game to make it 3-0, and that salts the game. But this is what he's doing. He did it against Australia when it was tight. He did it in the semifinal as well, or the quarterfinal rather. So it's just been one game after another where he's taken it to different heights. And so as I go into this final now, and I see what I think are the two best teams, and I love that about the World Cup, is that so often we do see the best teams, despite that great story of Morocco and obviously Croatia too. But I like to see the stars shine. And now we have the best all-time player in Messi up against the next best player in Kylian Mbappe. It's a really great matchup.
Okay, but what are the keys in your eyes, Paul? What are you looking for on Sunday from both sides to win?
Well, Argentina's got to negate the threat of Mbappe down that flank. But even when they do that, there's Theo Hernandez, who has come in as a replacement for his brother who's injured. Luca Hernandez in the first game for France in a left-back position. You think, okay, how can he be a threat? He has been storming down that side all tournament long, setting up plays and goals for France. But the other player that I think Argentina needs to worry about is Griezmann. He's just been phenomenal. And the thing with Griezmann is he's a box-to-box player who's kind of in and out. I didn't think started the tournament all that strongly. But Antoine Griezmann now, I think, is in consideration for the Golden Ball as the best player in the tournament. It's going to go to Messi or Mbappe, but you have to put him into consideration because of what he's meant to that French team that is missing so many players through injury. He's stepped up and been the leader of that squad. So that's what Argentina, I think, needs to do defensively against their star players from France. What does France need to do? It's so obvious, but how do you do it? I don't even need to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Try to slow down Lionel Messi to whatever degree you can do that. And it seems like so far nobody's been able. He drops into pockets so he can pick up the ball deeper. He's been holding the ball up. He's obviously great at taking players on and dribbling. He's a terrific striker of the ball. And if there's any danger around the edge of the penalty area or inside the penalty area, look out, because more often than not, he's going to put that away as well from the penalty spot. Although he did miss that one penalty kick earlier in the tournament against Poland.
Paul, look at this. I mean, the tournament's coming to a close. Look at it from the Canadian perspective for this whole tournament. They got 4 years to get ready now. After watching what they've watched the whole tournament, tell us if you were in charge, what are some of the things you're looking at from this tournament for the next one for Canada to get there and do much better?
I think the most important thing for Canada, especially in a tournament now in 2026 that they're hosting and won't need to go through the World Cup qualification process, is to find games against good teams. Now, that's going to be difficult because as it's set up now, each confederation is playing kind of their own Nations League. UEFA has its Nations League. CONCACAF now has its own Nations League. And that means you really are kind of predetermined to play against teams from your own confederation for the most part during those FIFA windows, the international windows. But I think Canada and the US and Mexico, for that matter, need to find ways to play against better competition. And one of the ways I think that's going to happen is that Canada is going to be playing, from what I understand, in the Copa America, which is obviously the South American Confederation and their tournament that they play every 2 years. And that to me is huge if that can happen. To be able to play against the Argentinas of the world and Brazils would be a step up from only playing in their CONCACAF region.
Who wins Sunday?
I predicted France ahead of the tournament, and I thought Brazil might be there. Argentina, for me, is so reliant on one player that it's going to come down to how well either France contains Messi or how well Messi himself plays in the game and shines. I'm pulling for Messi because I love his story. I love the fact that there's even still some, consideration as him not being the best player in the world. He can blow that out of the water, obviously, with a World Cup win. He doesn't need to, in my mind. He's still the best. I think Argentina maybe sneaks it over the line, but it's going to be a tight game, obviously, and one that I'm really looking forward to. It should be a good one.
That was the most wishy-washy answer I've ever heard. Is it France or Argentina?
Bring the heat! Bring the heat!
Like I said, for Argentina.
Okay. All right.
No,
beautiful.
I'm not sure. I'm for Argentina, but
okay.
It could very well be France.
Okay. Just say one or the other. What the heck? You
I'm hedging my bets.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to talk to you on Monday after it's all over, Dolly. Appreciate it.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Take care.